The PCH scam. I'm sharing what happened to my mother, and I'm trying to keep the events as close to the dates and what unfolded in telling her story. A lot of the information she had given me, and some of this information came from the chats she had with these criminals online. I wanted to share because I want people to realize that scammers don't care about your age or any disability. They'll do their best to manipulate you to get what they want. My mom is 87 years old. She would always enter online contests, PCH, legitimate ones like that. As far back as I can remember, she would order magazines and gadgets from PCH and then enter their contests, hoping the van and balloons would show up at her house one day. So you can imagine the amount of junk mail she gets. On top of that, 15 years ago, we got my mom into going online, mostly to keep in touch with family, and it would help her to see her grandkids via video chat and more, as she lives in Virginia, and some of her grandkids are in Texas and Mississippi. We bought her a laptop 15 years ago, and we updated them through the years. She now uses a phone and tablet like a pro. Even at 87, she's a whiz with her phone. In my mind, I thought, since she's so good at email, video chat, and social media, that I never thought about scammers getting to her. My mom being tech-savvy was great. I watched her social media closely, though, and who she friended. I made her keep her friends list open to me so I could watch it. I've heard of romance scammers friending the elderly, and my greatest fear was her being romanced by some scammer with a fake profile. Her friends list was small, mostly family, some neighbors, and a handful of people in her town. My mom has been alone since 2003, and her family fills the void. We never leave her alone or lonely, and with some of the family living out of state, I live close and make sure she has the social interactions that elderly people really do need. Mom always posted online at least once a day with what she was up to. Bingo on Friday at the senior center and things like that. It was cute. And I can't explain and stress enough the amount of mail she would get on a daily basis from catalogs, magazines, and mail order places. It was crazy. I guess this is where the scammers slipped in. It wasn't like they romanced her. This started, we think, around June. She'd been entering PCH via regular mail, and she liked the PCH site on social media and would often comment on it. And a man contacted her on FB saying she was picked as a finalist on the PCH Big Prize. This man identified himself as John and said that he was a PCH authorized online agent. My mother started a private chat with this man, and he told her that she had been chosen out of the thousands and she won a special prize. Along this chat, my mother had told him that she had entered PCH for decades and was a huge fan of the sweepstakes. She had told me she told this man all about how she orders all kinds of household stuff from their mail flyers and has for ages. She'd always hoped to win. This John guy told her that she won a special prize of $10,000 just for her commitment to the game. Well, this convinced my mother, and she was so enamored with the fact that PCH recognized her commitment to entering the game, she never stopped to think that this would be a possible scam. This John man asked her to verify her name, mailing address, and phone number. And of course, Mom gave him that information, and he said he had verified that she was indeed a big winner. He let her know he would contact her soon. Mom received a phone call from this so-called John shortly after this online encounter. I don't remember how many hours he waited, but this John, claiming to be from PCH, called her. He convinced my mom that she was a big winner, but in order to send the money and her winning check, she would need to verify again her mailing address, phone number, and full name, which she did. This John told her that they would be verifying it again and then sending her check in the mail. A short time later, she had apparently received a phone call from another man calling him Richard, who was part of the prize patrol but dealt with the tax side of things. He told her that she would have to pay the taxes up front on her big prize money, and told my mother that PCH no longer awards prizes until the taxes are paid up front. Well, she didn't know any better, and this Richard told her that she must do a wire bank transfer. With Mom being elderly, she didn't drive anymore, and either myself or my brother would come take her shopping once a week. Well, this complicated things for the scammer as my mother didn't do online banking or know how to wire anything. They asked her if she had any apps to transfer money, to which my mother said she didn't know what they were. They tried several times to get her to transfer money, wire money. They even asked her to go to Walmart and do a transfer. When my mother had told them that she can't drive, they mapped the nearest Walmart where it was from her home address and told her to walk there or she would lose her prize money. This is how far these scammers try. They were finally told by my mom that she goes every week to the grocery store and occasionally a doctor's appointment, so she does get out. Well, this Richard kept calling her, and they had called her several times, befriending her in a way. He told her he would hold the money until she could find a way to send the taxes and pay the fee. He told her it was a $1,200 fee and that it was due as soon as they received the prize winner tax, then they could release the winning money. My brother took her to the store and doctor's appointments one week after this all started, and we knew nothing about this. He said Mom was acting impatient and stressed out. She went to her doctor's and then had to stop to get her prescription refills at the pharmacy. Typically my brother goes in with her to help her, but she insisted on going by herself. He told me that he nearly argued with her because she said she didn't want him waiting with her in the pharmacy, and Mom got really upset saying she can do it herself and he could wait in the car. He said Mom was flustered after getting her prescriptions, and then he took her to the grocery store. Every week her trips to the store became routine as usual, but she would become annoyed with us if we went to go in with her. She insisted on being dropped off and picked up, or we wait in the car while she grocery shopped. My brother thought it was just her fighting to keep her independence. We had no clue during this time that she was being victimized by a scammer. This Richard guy told my mother that she needed to buy loadable credit cards, which she would have to load with $100 each week until she was able to get to the $1,200 amount to pay the tax so he could get her the $10,000 prize money. They couldn't give her the check until the tax was paid. So this Richard instructed her to load these cards once a week for 12 weeks. So each time she would go to the pharmacy or grocery store, she would find these loadable credit cards and load them once a week with $100. She would then be instructed to give him the card information, take a picture of the card front and back with her phone, and then send it to him via messenger. This continued to carry on for weeks. My brother and I started to notice that she would buy fewer and fewer groceries at the store. One week my brother insisted on coming with her to shop inside the store, and my mother became extremely upset. She was in fact angry and only bought a few things and said she felt tired and wanted to go home, so my brother took her home. This Richard person needed 2 more gift cards to complete her $1,200 fee, which is why my mom was so upset that week when my brother took her to the store. My brother and I had a conversation about our mom's personality changing and how she was acting. We thought maybe she was getting signs of dementia or some other health problem. The reality of it was, this Richard person was pursuing her to buy the last 2 loadable cards. The chat she had with this man, he told her that she was losing her chance at a check because he couldn't hide it from his boss any longer that she had not paid the taxes, and that she would have to forfeit her prize. The chat showed my mother begging him not to let her lose her prize, even offering Richard some of the money if he could ensure that she won't lose her prize, and that she was trying to find ways to get to the store to get the last $200 worth of loadable cards and pay off her debt so she could get her big check. My brother and I made a surprise visit to Mom's house one morning, mostly just to bring her some breakfast as we had stopped at a fast food place. We wanted to check on her to see if she was okay. Mom was happy to see us, but flustered. She hurried into her kitchen and scooped up a few papers and things and stuffed them into her drawer in her tableside desk tray thing. My brother and I both noticed this behavior, but we tried our best to enjoy our breakfast with her. Mom got up once during this to use the bathroom, and my brother went into that drawer, and inside we found receipts from the pharmacy and grocery store for loadable gift cards and loadable credit cards. Not just one, but dozens. They were receipts for gift cards and loadable credit cards for iTunes, Steam, and other cards. When Mom came out of the bathroom, we sat down to confront her on what was going on. She became very upset with us, but told us that Richard said she needs $200 more in cards before she can claim her $10,000 prize. When I asked her who the heck Richard was, she told me he was the PCH man that she had met online. My brother and I looked at each other and felt sick. I took my mom's phone and went through her messenger. That's where I discovered the truth. Richard had not only convinced my mother she won $10,000 from PCH if she paid the $1,200 in taxes, he convinced her that she could enter other bigger contests if she bought gift cards. He told her she could enter various PCH online contests by buying gift cards, and each card she bought was an entry into another drawing. For example, he told her that if she bought a $100 iTunes card, she'd be entered into a drawing to win $5,000. If she bought a $100 Steam card, she would be entered into another contest to win a brand new car. This guy had her convinced that she was entered into all kinds of contests. By the end of everything, we discovered dozens of gift cards in her home and gift card receipts. She was basically buying gift cards by the handful every time she got the chance to go to the store just to enter more so-called contests. According to my mother's phone, Richard would call her all hours of the day and night. She told me that she would talk to him nightly and that he was helping her to be the chosen winner of the prizes, as he would rig the games so that she would win and she was his favorite person. This was absolutely mind-blowing. This guy played her and convinced her that she was on her way to being a wealthy prize winner. Mom was very upset with us, but I found Richard's profile and this John person who first contacted her. I showed Mom the profiles were fake and scams. The picture of Richard was a picture of a famous author, and the picture of John was an actor, and they likely had tons of people they were scamming. I took Mom's phone and blocked Richard's number, and I had to convince my mom that she was being scammed. She didn't believe me at first and was so upset, we took away her good friends, who was helping her win lots of money. After some convincing, Mom finally realized it was a scam, and I think she was embarrassed. After blocking Richard's number, he started calling her from other numbers, harassing her, telling her that she will be arrested if she doesn't send other cards that she had promised. We ended up having to change her number, and for a while shut down her profile as she was being bombarded by Richard and other fakes, trying to convince her that she would be in trouble for not sending the cards. Richard went as far as telling her that he was fired from his job because of her and that his children were suffering. The extent these people go to is mind-blowing. Mom lost lots of her savings buying these cards. We counted as many cards as we could, and I'm sure there are some that she hid or threw away after giving him the information. But the ones we counted, she spent at least $2,000 in cards entering these so-called contests. Watch your parents. These scammers do not care who they talk to as long as they get their share of someone's money. Absolutely disgusting, and I hope someone hears this and takes warning to watch out for these types of scams. We'd like to thank this lady for sharing her story. Unfortunately, this happens often, and when scammers can't use a romance scam, they'll try a prize patrol scam, a money-winning scam, a bingo scam. They try everything to try and get money and gift cards from unsuspecting victims. If you'd like to share your story, you can drop us an email, scammingscammers@gmail.com. Just give us a little while to verify your story and narrate it into a video. Until next time, keep yourself safe and keep your parents safe. Take care.